Welcome to Rick's Corner, brought to you by Old School Labs, the brand I trust and the only one I put my name to. Use my code DRAYSON12 on the link below.
Welcome to Rick's Corner. The man, the myth, the legend. Now on with the show.
All right, so I don't know what to do. Welcome to Rick's Corner. I have Dr. Mark Braunstein back here. He's been on before with quite a bit of success and viewers. And I wanted to talk to him about a couple of things because he's been on the keto diet and he lost how many pounds?
62 pounds since March.
62 pounds. And if you saw him before, you can see a huge difference, and I'll post a picture of that. So do you stick with this regularly? I mean, like on a daily thing?
Well, up until the time I lost 55 pounds, I was strict keto, high fat, almost no carb diet, no exercise at all. I was 110 pounds overweight. Now I'm about 45 pounds overweight. I had severe diabetes, and that's completely reversed since March with no exercise. So the keto diet is the strictest of the three common low carb diets. There's keto is the most restrictive, then Atkins, and then paleo.
Okay.
I did keto.
That means no carbs.
Very few. I ate a lot of ribeyes, a lot of fat.
Oh, that sounds good. I'll go for the ribeyes.
A lot of barbecuing. My mercury level went up because I ate too much fish, so I had to cut down on the fish. It not only got rid of I also had sleep apnea. That's gone completely. My blood pressure, I'm on 1/3 the amount of medicine with normal blood pressure. Diabetes, severely out of control. I didn't have it a year ago. Now it's reversed completely.
Just from the diet?
I feel better, just from the diet. My mood is better.
Well, like I said, when you walked in and I looked at you, I thought, is that you? I mean, you look like half yourself.
Yeah. So in medical school and in college, when I was at UCLA and USC, I weighed about 175 pounds. I was up to 286 pounds.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I don't drink any alcohol. That's not a factor. But I was eating carbs for stress reduction. And now I have less stress. And the ketone bodies, when you eat fat, you burn the fat you eat, and you burn your own body fat.
Mm-hmm.
Contrary to what we were all taught growing up, that low-fat, high-carb diet is healthy. For 90% of America, including studies in children now, the keto diet is much more healthy than what we have been traditionally told as a healthy diet.
Do you think it's difficult to stay on it?
No.
No?
It's easy. I can eat out anywhere. I was at the drive-thru at Carl's Jr., I think, and I asked for a double cheeseburger without the buns. They put it on a bed of fresh salad, which I was surprised. It was like fresh. 2 cheeseburgers and a salad, and that was my keto lunch.
Well, that would be normal for me, like something like that. You get your protein.
Yeah. Well, as opposed to Jersey Mike's, the No. 6 roast beef with the foot-long roll, that.
I tried that place. I didn't much care for it. But I've always said that, In-N-Out has clean meat and clean food.
Yeah.
But I've always said that with the meat and the cheese and the tomato and the lettuce, it's okay. Now, the amount of bread that I wouldn't eat the whole bun, but some of it just adds flavor to me.
Yeah, so now I'll eat a bran muffin or a blueberry muffin at night. I let myself have a little bit of carbs, but mostly I'll eat, for example, I barbecue a lot. Ribeyes are the fattiest ones. Tonight, I got, at Ralph's, it was on sale, I got filet mignon, 2 of them, a pound each. I'll have a pound of filet mignon and a Caesar salad, but no croutons.
God, you got it done better than I do.
And then maybe I'll have a small packet of blueberries for dessert, for a snack.
Yeah, I like that. I put a little Cool Whip on.
Yeah.
There's no sugar.
Right, Cool Whip or I'll use the heavy whipping cream.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because that's fat.
Yeah, the more fat. So when I was growing up and when you were growing up, we were taught by the government, it was required that there are 4 food groups and you eat complex carbohydrates, whole wheat bread, pasta, blah, blah, blah. And that was one of the 4 food groups, and that's what made us all fat.
Yes.
All these carbohydrates raise our, and you know more about it than I do as a bodybuilder, raises your insulin level. You eat any carbohydrate, a corn on the cob, your insulin level, even if you're not diabetic, raises up, and that tells your body not only to drive glucose into the cells for energy, but it says, hey, this guy wants to hibernate like a bear, so we better deposit every extra calorie he eats as fat. When you eat a ribeye, and with the juices and the fat dribbling down my chin as I don't even use a fork and knife half the time, just eating it. My wife's looking at me. It's a mess. But that fat, the fattiest, I get the fattiest. You're eating fat, so now you burn the fat you eat.
Yeah.
And then you burn your own fat because you didn't raise your insulin levels. So you're tricking your body into burning fat. Now, 10%, maybe 5-10% of the country, would you say, is naturally thin or doesn't have an issue with abdominal fat and insulin resistance? What would you say?
I think a majority of the country does.
Okay, so our children, look at the children, look at what the parents order the children, the macaroni and cheese. When I'm getting a salad, I'll look over, the kids are having waffles, pancakes, toast, hash browns. It's all carbs.
Well, the
orange juice.
The number one food for kids is pizza.
Pizza, yeah.
That's their number one food. And then they say it's okay because it's got protein in it and all, but it's got everything else too. So I don't know about that.
And then they give them the low-fat milk thinking that'll help them lose weight, which is the opposite. They should be drinking whole milk. They should be drinking half and half.
Well, that's true. Now, when I first came down here,
milk.
Or no milk, yeah. I went down to Muscle Beach and I was talking to a guy down there. I was a young guy then, and he's drinking a quart of cream. I said, why do you drink the cream? He says, there's a little bit of fat. This is in the 50s. And he thought about that then. He had the fat and he had the protein. I thought, well, that makes sense. And I went to lunch with a guy from Gold's, and every time we go somewhere, he'd take the creamer in the restaurant and drink it. That was the real cream, though. It wasn't those little things.
Yeah, so when I get coffee, I always ask them for heavy cream instead of half and half.
Yeah.
And when I was overweight and doing that, they kind of look at me like, you sure you want
because people cream? Don't get that. They don't understand. They think, well, fats are fat. Like, how many times I've heard people say, I'm going to get some low-fat yogurt.
Yeah.
Why?
No. If I eat oatmeal, what I do, which now I'm eating a little bit once in a while, I'll put an entire stick of butter just in my bowl of Irish oatmeal, and I lose weight. If I didn't put the stick of butter in, it wouldn't slow down the absorption of the sugars in the oatmeal, and I would get an insulin surge. But by mixing it with fat, it slows down the absorption of the glucose, and I don't get the insulin surge, and you lose weight or maintain weight.
So this is what you would do throughout the day with every meal, is have a high abundance of fat. Mostly.
Well, for breakfast lately, I'll have an Atkins shake. It's 1 gram of net carbs. It's mostly fat. It's 180 calories, and it fills you up. And when you're in ketosis, the ketone bodies feed back to the brain better than phentermine, better than a lot of weight loss medicines, because I've been on all those, and blunt your appetite. So you're not even hungry. So that'll last me all morning. Then lunch I might skip, or I'll go to Subway across the street and I'll get like 8 meatballs with extra sauce on top of a salad, with lots of vinegar, red wine vinegar, and lots of olive oil.
But that's your fats.
And that's what I have for, I don't get the sandwiches there, I get the salad. And I notice when I'm there, I'm the only person ordering a salad. Sometimes someone gets a chopped salad, but that's not even healthy. It's a regular salad with meatballs, or I was putting tuna, but again, the mercury level, you got to watch the mercury.
With the fish?
Yeah, like children shouldn't have more than 1 tuna sandwich a week. There's so much mercury in tuna.
Yeah, I know there is, and I just had a tuna melt, but that's first time in 3 weeks. You've been married how long? You got married recently. How long?
Remarried 4 years ago to Karen.
It seems like you just told me you were getting married, and that was 4 years ago. She must think she has a whole new man now.
Yeah, well, she's happy. She's doing the same thing I'm doing, and she's lost weight. She was using the appetite suppressant, and it helped, the phentermine. I've been on phentermine for a decade in the past, and it just wore off. It stopped working.
Well, I've never tried that, but I'm not that hungry all the time. I mean, I'll sit down and eat, and I'm just not that hungry.
Yeah.
But I do eat right. Now, recently, my cardiologist doubled my thyroid because he said it was low.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting sluggish and tired all the time. And when I started back on this double, my energy went up, my metabolism shot up, and I dropped 10 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, and that's an interesting topic, too. I just went to this conference in Vegas on anti-aging, and Terry Hertog, who's from Belgium, is one of the most famous endocrinologists and thyroid specialists in the world. And he's written about 12 textbooks. I have his $400 textbook on endocrinology, but I got to talk to him, and he always says, you adjust the thyroid to how the person feels. In endocrinology, they say, with any hormone,
yes,
treat the patient and how they feel. You don't treat the piece of paper. You treat the patient. And the biggest mistake that beginning doctors make, or doctors that don't keep up to date, I used to be one of them, is you look at the numbers and you say, hey, your numbers are just right. And the person says, yeah, but I'm gaining weight, I'm bloated, I'm tired. I'm cold intolerant, all the symptoms of hypothyroidism, constipation,
yes.
I'm depressed. You give them more thyroid and everyone freaks out and the endocrinologist says it's too much, but the person walks in and says, I feel fine, I have no side effects, they hold their hand out, no tremor, their heart rate's normal, and their mood's better. And
yeah, I was getting tremors. I mean, I can feel my hands shaking and my muscles were jerking and this and that, but I've never felt better since they increased it.
Yeah, and so the moral of that is with almost all hormones, whether it's testosterone, estrogen, in men and women, thyroid, growth hormone, you name it, you adjust it to, you get the blood work originally, you get a baseline, and you may follow it periodically, but you treat the patient, not the numbers. And the person that said that first was Hippocrates. He said, he said a famous saying, and that was thousands of years ago, he said, you're not treating a disease that a patient has. You're treating a patient that has a disease. Meaning,
I got that.
Know the patient, understand them as a human being, which is what I do in my practice, and I spend a lot of extra time with people. I don't time the appointments for 10 minutes like at Kaiser or Facey Medical Group, whatever. Even UCLA is doing that now. It's like an HMO. Yeah. My parents were patients there, and I know. You spend extra time, you get the information you need to treat that patient.
What about cortisol? How does that figure into everything?
Well, I'm not the world expert on cortisol, that's for sure, but with the body, so after age 30, the cortisol levels made by the adrenals perched on top of the kidneys that make the fight or flight hormones, the cortisol levels start to drop, the cortisol levels start to increase.
Yes.
And the DHEA levels, which the adrenals make, called dehydroepiandrosterone, it's kind of like a testosterone, like the men and women make it, drop. The body likes to have a ratio of very low cortisol, high DHEA. So one of the things I treat in anti-aging medicine is you want to restore the ratio of whatever the cortisol level is. You have a low DHA, you want to bring up the DHA so the ratio of DHA to cortisol is very high. That's the most important thing with cortisol. And then there are people that have low, fast, AM cortisols that might need adrenal support. I might refer that person to an endocrinologist, or I might cautiously treat them with low-dose cortisone.
I've been taking DHEA now for about 6 weeks and increased my strength quite a bit.
Yeah, DHEA is actually, part of it gets converted to testosterone, mm-hmm. but it has a separate, in and of itself, effects that have been studied since the 1920s and 30s, as much as thyroid hormone. And DHEA allows cells, one of the things it does is you could call it anti-aging, in that it allows cells to live out their pre-programmed cell life to its fullest. Whereas if you're low on DHEA, which is an extract of a yam, and it's over-the-counter or online, and you have to know how much to give. Women take very small dose, men bigger dose, and you have to measure a blood level. But DHEA allows the cells to reach their maximum pre-programmed cell life. It has a lot of other benefits.
So it's good for you.
Psychiatrists even will sometimes treat very mild depression with DHEA. I've added it to many patients with depression. I do a lot of treatment of mood disorders, and it helps with depression.
That's another thing I was listening to something about depression this morning on the news. I've never been depressed, so I don't know what it feels like. But I know that with this thyroid boost, I'm always in a good mood, regardless of anything. I just feel good all the time and motivated to go forward and do good things.
Yeah, so the brain relies on many, many different factors to have a normal mood. One is genetic, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. They're not character flaws. Those are neurophysiologic, inflammatory, impaired brain healing diseases that are genetic. But to have the best mood, you need a optimized vitamin D level. There's millions of vitamin D receptors in the brain, and 95% of us are indoors. We're not getting sun.
Right.
You need optimal DHEA levels. You need optimal testosterone levels, not only in men and women.
Yes, I know.
And growth hormone levels. At this testosterone in women and men even young men can dramatically help with depression. In young men, you just give Clomid because you don't want to lower their sperm count. Testosterone can make you infertile. So if you want to have children, you have to give Clomid pills that don't lower the sperm count. But the bottom line is you raise testosterone. That combats depression and anxiety, and depression and anxiety cause low testosterone.
Clomid, is that similar to HCG?
Clomid,
I know what it is, but is it?
Yeah, Clomid, HCG,
or Proviron,
which is the female pregnancy hormone.
Right.
If in men it fools the body into thinking it's luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone stimulates the testes to make more testosterone. Clomid blocks estrogen receptors in the brain. It's a pill. And in young men, I have many young men that have low testosterone. They're very symptomatic with fatigue and not only erectile dysfunction, but fatigue. They gain abdominal fat, mood changes, blah, 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 trouble concentrating. Clomid blocks estrogen receptors, which through a cascade of events raises the pituitary production of luteinizing hormone, goes to the testes and tells your testes to make more.
Right. That's what I always thought.
Now, at our age, Clomid doesn't do that as well because there are less Leydig cells in the testes. By the time you get to be 60, almost 61, then there's less of these cells in the testes. So now, to stimulate those cells, there's less of them to stimulate. Whereas in a 20-year-old, they have lots of them, and Clomid works great. At my age, Clomid may not have much of an effect at all.
Well, I do a shot of testosterone a week.
Yeah.
I went through my cardiologist, and he said that all my numbers, there we go again. But he says, how do you feel? I said, I feel great.
Yeah, there's a lot of conflicting articles. Most recently, there was one published in JAMA, I think, that testosterone can cause heart disease. At Cedars-Sinai, they've done studies showing that heart transplant patients supplemented on testosterone, the transplants last longer and they work better.
That's what he told me.
And the same with transplanted kidneys in men. Now, I went to a lecture on women and testosterone in Vegas by Terry Hertog from Belgium again. He said the most common symptom of low testosterone in women is not only low libido, but cellulite. And he explained cellulite is a major symptom of low testosterone in women, and sort of women that aren't even overweight, just have like sort of loose skin. Those are symptoms of low testosterone, and loss of underarm hair and pubic hair are symptoms of low testosterone in women. So he treats a lot of women in Belgium and the United States with testosterone injections. It's a little complicated. I have to look into doing it, but I give it topical testosterone, and that certainly helps women with their depression and their mood, not just libido.
I never knew
that. And I went to a lecture in Miami. It was a woman that wrote a textbook on testosterone in women, and the title of her lecture was, she's from a medical school, title of her lecture was Testosterone in Women, the Forgotten Hormone, and explained how every tissue in the body in women has testosterone receptors, and it's one of the most neglected areas in all of female medicine. And the labs say a blood level of 0 to 20 is normal. She goes, 0? Are you kidding? Then she showed you got to be like a 70 to 120. That's normal. So normal isn't optimal.
I'm sure that scares most women to think that they have to take testosterone. They're right off their head, oh, I'm not taking a steroid, you know.
Yeah, so all the women I have on testosterone, maybe a dozen now, all feel better in so many ways. Their mood,
Very interesting.
their libido, and it helps with osteoporosis more than a lot of these prescription drugs, and increases bone density, but also helps with depression. One woman has severe depression, topical testosterone, added to the antidepressant mood stabilizer, evened her out. Is amazing within days.
I have a question. What about water retention? Because I'm holding water a little bit in my forearms, a little bit on my calves, and now I've noticed a ton of water around my waist. It's not fat, it's just jiggly water. And how do you get rid of that?
Do you think it's from testosterone?
No, I think it's from my heart.
Oh, well, that's sort of an hour to 2 hour.
No, I'm just saying, I'm taking Lasix.
Yeah, so there are many reasons for edema. With testosterone, you can get for the first 3 months some fluid retention.
Yeah.
You might want to lower the dose. Your body has to, anytime you manipulate hormones, your body has to acclimate and adjust. So you have, in fact, I stopped testosterone because I didn't want to see the scale going up as I retained fluid.
Yeah.
You've got to exercise and eat the keto diet or eat healthy and take testosterone. Now, fluid in general, edema, has, in medical school, 3 main causes they teach you. The cardiac, so if you have congestive heart failure, your heart's not pumping well. Obesity causes fluid retention. Kidney disease, liver disease, and then malnutrition with low albumin levels.
Okay.
So it's very complicated.
Well, I had congestive heart failure.
Yeah, so that's a sign. So cardiologists often have patients weigh themselves every morning and naked, and if they gain 1 pound or 2 pounds, they have to take a Lasix with the potassium, or call them or whatever.
That's what I'm doing. I'm taking Lasix, and they gave me a metolazone.
Yeah, another diuretic.
Take ahead of time because I went and weighed myself the other day, and I weighed exactly what I did in 1969 when I came here, pound for pound.
Okay. Yeah.
And I lost, like I said, I lost 10 pounds. So I just think this last bit of water has just got to come out. But it's funny how it's centered in my lower stomach, because normally I never had any water there.
Yeah, well, then you lay down at night, the body fluids redistribute.
Yeah.
And when you get up, by the end of the day, the ankles are more swollen.
Yeah. I'm going to put a needle in there, drain it, and just shoot it in the backyard.
That's what they used to do. They used to do that kind of. They drain the edema in these 1600s, whatever, putting holes in the skin, and the fluid with water would just drain right out.
Like a sprinkler.
Yeah.
I know.
And they do rotating tourniquets also.
Well, it's not that bad.
For edema from heart failure.
I'm the only one that sees it, and I don't like it, but I'll take care of that. I really appreciate you coming over and taking time off your schedule.
Oh, sure. I had one more announcement. My office is moving across the street. We remodeled a new office.
What's the new address?
I've happened to bring it with me on a piece of paper. I just tore down off the wall. We're packing as of December 1st. This is the new address. Across the street, the new improved version. Brand new office, and I'll be doing intravenous vitamins and vitamin shots from a menu, which is a new thing for me to do, and I think there are a lot of benefits.
Yes, I'll put that up here too. I'll type it in there. But I came to see you a few years ago, and I've always been impressed with your knowledge and things that you did for me to take care of me and make me feel healthy and young again.
Well, thank you.
So I like having you on here. It's nice to have your opinion because it's valued very much.
And I have a small, it's like VIP-like practice, but you don't have to pay to join it. Everyone has my cell phone number and can text me 24/7. No one takes call from me. So I like old-fashioned medicine. I go against the grain of the trends.
And I text him and he answers me. That's very unusual in today's world.
Yeah.
I text some of my friends.
Well, you're famous, so I answered you.
No, I text some of my friends. It takes them 3 days to get back to me. Well, you have your phone in your hand. Just text me back, please.
Oh, yeah. My family members, when they can't get hold of their doctors, they text me and they get hold of me immediately. Can't get hold of their doctor at UCLA ever, they call me.
Well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys for watching Rick's Corner. I'm going to have Dr. Braunstein back with another subject sometimes when he has a chance, because this is good information. It's really good.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come here.
You'd probably come back even skinnier.
And I challenge you to a wrestling contest, and I would lose so badly.
You win. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, guys.
Hope you enjoyed the video brought to you by Old School Labs. Use my discount code DRAYSON12 on the link below at oldschoollabs.com. Hey everyone, now you can have the Gold's Gym logo drawn by me, the artist Rick Drayson. personalized and made out to you and signed by me to frame and put on your gym wall or wherever you see fit to do so. It's a piece of bodybuilding history. It will never be duplicated again. It's the largest selling icon t-shirt logo in the world, and I'm the guy that drew it, and I will draw it for you. Just go to my website, rickdrazen.com, and order there. You can pay through PayPal, and it'll be sent out right away. And be sure to watch Rick's Corner for all the videos on bodybuilding, nutrition, fitness, pro wrestling, and anything that suits your interest as far as getting physically fit and being the best you can be from the golden era of bodybuilding.
He's the equalizer, baby. See you next time.